Ian's a very self-motivated undergraduate, probably within the top 1% of undergraduates. He's an absolute delight to work with. He contacted me when he was a freshman, wanting to work in the lab, and sent me his resume, and it was already well put together, and I could already tell from that initial contact that he made with me that he was going to be an asset to the lab. And throughout the years, he's always impressed me, very hardworking. He's the one that actually approached me about the Goldwater Scholarship and asked me to write a letter, so it's definitely self-motivated.
Goldwater has been a great opportunity for me to learn more about how to write personal statements and how to really argue things in that regard, and also another excuse to talk about the research that I've done and how to describe it in a different angle. There's only a 3-page research essay you're allowed to have, so you had to condense everything down and really show both what you found and the work involved in it. So that was a very interesting, engaging process, especially I would say for future graduate school applications that I'll go through, and also to apply for jobs. Carla have been instrumental in this process. I would never have done it without them and been able to succeed in that without them. From the work I've done here and her graduate students, they've all been great mentors to me. So her graduate students and the system, the culture we have here is incredible, and it really helps, especially for an undergraduate, learn everything you can about research. And Carla in particular, I don't think I would have gotten it without her and my other recommenders who really argued strong for me to the Goldwater Committee. So from that, it also has been a great chance to learn how to argue for myself in an academic setting. And her lab has been so welcoming and opening. They basically said, hey, we can get you onto a project immediately, and from there, with all the help, all the comments, everything, we got a paper published earlier this year in January through the work I've done in this lab on our annuli project, which was about growth rates in freshwater mussel shells. And the stable isotopes I just picked up recently and have really been analyzing and writing up a rough draft for a manuscript to see kind of how we can go further with this. Prior to working with freshwater mussels, I actually worked with the Tennessee Aquarium on a project for a few years that was with upside-down jellyfish. So still invertebrates, but not freshwater mussels at all. And those are all marine, but they're fun because they're a coastal species. So there's a mix between freshwater and saltwater where they are often in estuaries and other places like that. But prior to this, I actually didn't know much at all about freshwater mussels. And so I kind of joined this lab because I believed I've never really worked with freshwater ecology. I thought it would be an interesting, different angle to take after going off of jellyfish. And I was very interested in the elemental stuff and the nutrient analysis that this lab does very frequently. So I came here for that, and then kind of fell in love with freshwater mussels along the way. So for instance, philosophy is all about debate and leading discussion. That's a very useful skill in academic circles, especially working with co-authors and lecturers such as that. That is a good area for me to start developing those skills, which have been very helpful. Discovering Alabama is actually a great way to communicate all the incredible things that people are doing in aquatic ecology across Alabama. We're actually focusing on an episode on the aquatic biodiversity of Alabama. So that is going to be a lot of fun. We interviewed Dr. Atkinson for that, so her mussel work is going to be there. We also talked to people about crayfish. Rebecca Bearden, for instance, was involved with that. We've talked about aquatic insects. Dr. Alexander Hearn was involved in that. And we've been lucky enough to talk to a lot of people on that. And Alabama is a great place in the aquatic ecology community because it's very tight-knit. So everyone knows everyone is involved with everyone. So you can go from one person to the entire web to bring it all together, to see the full scale of diversity in Alabama in no time. So that is my way of becoming a better science communicator, which I think is a crucial skill for everything, because a lot of what a professor does is communicating their results or findings. And as for the Run Club, I can't argue that one for research, but I can't sit still, so I need something to work through that. It's going to be a busy summer for me. I applied for and was lucky enough to be included in a study abroad program through the University of Alabama, the UA abroad in Belize. So a little more on the marine side again. We're going to actually be looking at coral reefs there and participating in a few years-long research projects that this class have been focusing on. So there's things, for instance, like building an artificial reef, lionfish harpooning, funny enough, and also just some stuff around parrotfish, behavioral stuff there. That is one thing I'm doing this summer, the first 2 weeks of my summer. And then after that, I'm actually lucky enough to travel with Carla to Alaska to work on a project involving insects and aquatic insects up north there. I'm very thankful. I hope my hard work has proven that I'm worth to keep around.